to ensure these levies does not deepen the digital divide and make broadband less affordable for regional households and businesses. We need to make sure that regional communities have access to a broadband network that is fit for the future so that they can participate in the digital economy. But under this plan, if you live in Point Piper, the wholesale charge for the 50 megabyte plan will be $45 per month. But if you live in regional Australia and you want to order the same speed over the fixed wireless network, the NBN has proposed to charge $65 a month. This $20 per month, an extra $240 a year that regional consumers would have to have forked out. Thanks to the Turnbull's NBN shambles, a regional consumer could be
Senator Polley, I remind you to address members in the other place by their correct title.
Thanks to the Turnbull government's NBN shambles, a regional consumer will be paying 44% more than someone in the city. One rule for Mr Turnbull in his Point Piper mansion and another for rural and regional consumers. At the same time, when energy prices are going up and the cost of living pressures are increasing, a broadband price hike by this government is the last thing people in regional Australia want to have to deal with. Regional Australians and regional businesses should not have to pick up the bill of the mess created by this Turnbull government. Now, turning to the broadband levy currently before the Senate, the introduction of this poorly designed levy is highly regrettable, but Labor will not be opposing it outright given the economic deterioration of the government's multi-technical mix. Rather, Labor will be seeking an amendment to the bill to reduce the scope and impact of it. This will ensure it is fairer, more targeted and better aligned with the sensible policy objectives. I recall years ago when Mr Turnbull talked about the NBN like an excited child at Christmas. He doesn't do that anymore. In fact, he doesn't speak of with any excitement on anything anymore, unless, of course, it was about giving a $17 billion tax cut.
Just resume your seat. Senators on my left, one of your own colleagues is on her feet, and I can hardly hear her speech because of your interjections. I ask you to extend to your own colleague the courtesy of allowing her to be heard in silence. Senator Polley.
The Prime Minister doesn't speak with any excitement on anything unless, of course, he's giving a $17 billion tax cut to his mates and the big banks' $60 billion tax cut to multinationals in corporate Australia. Mr Turnbull thought he would be the great saviour of the NBN. Instead, he's been a great disappointment. The NBN has turned into a shambles under this government, and as we can see, the leaked reports after leaked reports. Well, the lack of transparency in relation to the NBN and the denials and consternation of the NBN Co reflects a paranoia that has gripped the Turnbull government and the NBN infrastructure program. And in fact, this seems to be behind the times if I was to note the deterioration of this government. This government is in a paralysis, and who can blame the Australian people for not listening to them anymore? You can only let someone down so many times before they switch off and they stop listening. Of course, over the past few years, Labor has held the NBN consultations with consumers and small businesses across the country. I can tell you the Australian public is dismayed that the Turnbull government abandoned Labor's fibre to the premises NBN under the false pretence that switching to a multi-technical mix would be faster and cheaper. The bungled installation of the NBN is costing local businesses in my home state of Tasmania, where Mr Turnbull made the callous decision to leave Tasmanian businesses and households off the map. Consequently, Tasmanians are still crying out for better NBN services so they are not left behind and can operate and take advantage of the digital economy. None of Mr Turnbull's government's pledge of 1.5 premises to be connected to the new fibre to the
Order.
curb
Order,
will be in
Senator
Tasmania.
Order, Senator Polley. You will be order. You will be in continuation upon the resumption of the debate.